Pit stops in Texas. Elliott Sadler had been running third before the caution flag. His crew is going to try to crank out another quick one like they did last time around to Matt.
Leader Casey Kane said his car was tight. Tommy Baldwin diagnosed that more as aero-tight in traffic. Went by himself. He's down and away. The 91's out. He said he felt like it was just a little bit tight, Steve.
The 40 car is tight also, Matt. They just put on 4 tires and made an air pressure adjustment, and they also pulled out that left front fender that had been damaged with contact on pit road earlier. Sterling said his car has been tight when he pulls up behind another car.
A fire on pit road, a bit of a fuel spill after Ryan Newman left his pit. No damage. Just a bit of flame, and a very quick work by the Texas Motor Speedway Fire Department here to get it out.
A lot of times what will happen is they spill a little fuel out to overflow, and those lug nuts that are coming off, I mean, they are all but on fire, and it'll ignite that fuel.
The Samsung Radioshack 500 on Fox is brought to you by Aaron's Sales and Lease Ownership. Let Aaron's drive your dreams home today. By the new Chevrolets, an American revolution. By Napa Auto Parts. Napa, get the good stuff. And by Nextel. NASCAR and Nextel, partners in speed. ...120 laps complete here in Texas. You see the orange suit for one of the Speedway firemen, not just here at Texas, but at every Nextel Cup Series track. They wear double layer Nomex and helmets and a hood. In the hot blazing sun, they have to stay in that garb all day. They're only occasionally called upon, but they sure work fast when they are. Now, speaking of hot, here's Jeff Hammond with today's WebMD Safety Update.
Inside the cockpit of a race car, temperatures reach as much as 150 degrees. So we've got to keep these drivers cool. We've got to keep them having a clear head and a cool head. And how do we do that? Forcing air in through this NACA duct into a cool box located usually in the right side of the car. That cool air goes inside that box, is cooled down, back through this little hose, and forced into either the side of the helmet in front of the face of the driver or in the top of the helmet to keep his head cool and allow him to get some fresh air. Now look, this is a cool box. It's outside the car, equipped with a carbon monoxide filter, also to clear the air a little bit of any kind of impurities, again, to help make the driver not only have a cool head, but a clear head.
Thanks, Jeff. To keep your family safe and healthy and have a chance to win tickets to races next season in Daytona or Texas, visit drive.webmd.com. Matt Kenseth spent a long time with mechanics underneath that car, Jeannie.
Absolutely, long time and 2 stops. His first time down pit road, it was just a routine stop. He got the fuel, he got the tires, then he came back in for the adjustment. Basically, he's been fighting a loose car all day, and he said that the car really needed to be tighter, but the bigger issue that he was dealing with right now is that the rear end was steering the front of the car, so that's why they decided to take the time to come on in and make that second adjustment, that second trip down pit road.
Now here's Kurt Busch back.
Yeah, I mean, we're only at race number 7, but these guys are thinking points. He was back there about 15th or 16th. They stayed out 2 extra laps to make sure they led a lap, got those 5 extra bonus points, then they come to pit road to get their 4 fresh tires.
And what the 17 crowd is doing is in the trailing arms there's an eccentric, and you can move the rear end housing in and out, not body wise, not side to side, but front to rear. They had the right side leading forward, makes it cut really good, but makes it loose.
So a lot of adjustments during this second caution of the day in the Samsung Radioshack 500. Green flag, crank it up, and your favorite onboard. Here we go. 21.5 miles an hour. Elliott Sadler, Casey Kane, Sterling Marlin, Greg Biffle. Now, with Brendan Gaughan getting the free pass, there are 21 cars on the lead lap.
But on that restart, when they went through 3 and 4, Elliott Sadler in that 38 car was shot out of a cannon. When he came across to lead that lap, that was the first lap led by a Robert Yates Racing car in 2004. Jamie McMurray in the 42 car. You see the Fox tracks there with the miles per hour. He's trying to stay on the lead lap, but tail end the lead lap, 191 miles an hour at the end of this backstretch. Something's happened to Sterling Marlin in the 40 car up in the 3 and 4.
Couldn't get down to pit road. Too much traffic, if that's where he was headed. He is off the pace, but not way off.
He's been in the wall somewhere. He's his right side tires are all got the letters all buffed off him. He must have a flat tire, or else he hit the wall and damaged the car.
But you're right, Mike. He could not get to pit road because 2/3 of the field was coming by him. Steve Burns, he's in trouble, though.
I can add. Hey, guys, I just heard Sterling Marlin say that he hit the fence, hit the wall coming off of turn 2. Lee McCall said, bring it in. We'll work on it.
For a guy that had his second top 5 of 2004 last week at Bristol, just had moved into the top 10 in NASCAR Nextel Cup points.
Marlin will not bring out a caution, which is bad news for Jeremy Mayfield, Kevin Harvick, Jamie McMurray, who had hopes of getting back to the lead lap.
He didn't just brush the wall. That's a pretty hard lick on the right side for Sterling.
Greg Biffle right in the thick of things, now under pressure from Bill Elliott. This is 3rd place.
Bill got a little bit behind on his adjustments there early in the race. Looks like they got the car a lot better back where it was when they started now.
He got a good run on the bottom side off turn 2 that last time. They drag raced Greg Biffle in the 16 down in 3 and 4. Biffle didn't have good grip up there, had to really slow the car down. Bill Elliott to take the position away.
Let's show you what happened to Sterling Marlin to bring him to pit road under green.
Yeah, he got in there pretty hard. He knocked the car up in the air. That's a pretty hard lick.
And Darrell, that's right there at the exit of turn 2. You're carrying so much speed there, and sometimes that car just slides just a little bit. You just run out of racetrack.
Dave Blaney, who would like to run the full schedule for Bill Davis. They've picked up some one-race sponsorship for here in Texas, and from Batesville Speedway and Bad Boy Mowers. So Blaney doesn't want to do any agricultural racing today, but he has always been good here and in Atlanta.
Started back in 20th up to 11th position. What they're trying to do, Mike, is they're trying to at least race this car once a month to keep it visible with or without the sponsorship.
Right behind Blaney, Tony Stewart, as they battle with Robbie Gordon, who's a lap down. Race for 11th place. Now we saw Terry Labonte's car being pushed behind the wall. Dick Berggren, what's up?
Well, he won here in 1999, Mike, but he surely is not going to win today. They pulled the hood up on the car. Scott Maxim, the engine man, took the top off the distributor, had him crank the engine over, and the rotor didn't turn. That usually indicates it's a broken camshaft. But you guys were talking about Greg Biffle a couple of moments ago, and about that time, Biffle came on his radio and just said, "Woo-wee, loose."
We saw it down there in turn 3 and 4, Dick, just a few laps ago.
Teammates Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon running 6th and 7th.
This place is so fast. In the middle of 3 and 4 with our Fox tracks right there, somewhat off the throttle just a little bit, still 160 miles per hour.
Wow. Now Johnson going after the 9 of Casey Kane, or rather after the 8 of Dale Jr. And Steve can update Jr.
Hey, Mike, prior to the pit stop, Junior said that the car is free at the start of the run, but then he feels the tires start to chatter. So they took some bite out of the right rear, made some minor air pressure adjustments to the front tires. They considered putting a spring rubber in the right rear to fix that. That can be a lengthy procedure on pit road. Dale Earnhardt Jr. did not want to do that. Let's go to Matt.
Steve, one of the best race cars in Las Vegas and Atlanta belonged to Casey Mears. He adjustment. The car a little free at the beginning, but it's starting to come in nicely now.
Yeah, man, I was watching that car after that first pit stop, and a lot like Bill Elliott, Darrell had mentioned, I think they maybe got a little behind on their adjustments. Now it's starting to really come their way. Casey Mears in the 41.
Mears under pressure now from Derek Cope. And Cope, of course, lost a lot of time when he ran out of gas, and they had to push start that car. He's a couple of laps back.
I tell you what, our point leader, he's having a tough day.
Well, Darrell, everything's bigger in Texas, but this track isn't big enough for some. Sterling Marlin hit the wall, and we understand that Matt Kenseth's been in the fence.
Yeah, he got in the fence over off turn 2, a lot like what Sterling did. He just kind of slid up there and couldn't woe it up, and he crawled up on it pretty hard too.
Not hard enough, it appears, though, to bring him to pit road.
He's slowed down a little bit, but not nearly like Sterling did.
Kenseth was running prior to the last pit stop every bit as fast as then leader Kasey Kahne, except Darrell when he got into traffic, just like yesterday in the Busch race. When he got behind another car, his car didn't work so well.
And a lot of that could be the shock package, Mike. They really work hard. Let's see if we can see what happened to him, because I think our guys found it for us. Yeah, see, his car didn't rear up quite like Sterling did. It just kind of brushed the wall. I don't think it was quite as bad.
Same scenario, though. You get that push up off the corner. You're carrying so much speed on the exit, the law of physics kicks in.
But I think the shock package, you know, they come up with shocks that will, what they call, take care of the tires. I think that's why Matt runs so good on the long run. He takes care of the tires. A lot of that has to do with him. A lot of it has to do with the car itself. And when it does that, you just don't plant the tires in the track quite as hard as you do with other packages.
Two cars that have had no trouble running up behind other cars are Kasey Kahne and Bill Elliott.
But I tell you who else is not having any problems right now, Kevin Harvick in that blue number 29 car. Now, he is at the tail end of the lead lap back in 19th position, but I've been watching him ever since we restarted this race about 20 laps ago. He's quicker than the two leaders, but right now his car's out there in clean air. It's getting all that downforce on the nose of that car.
TV doesn't do justice to how bright the blue on that car is. It's hologramic. It's a decal that's somewhat three-dimensional, and it's all iridescent. For icebreakers on the hood of that Goodwrench Chevy, it's a sight to see.
It really is. I'd love to see that car like that under the lights. But he's been running that distance in front of Elliott Sadler in the 38 ever since we restarted this race.
Elliott Sadler 0.3 of a second up on Kasey Kahne.
Good battle right here. Jimmy Johnson just diamond the corner off. That's for 4th place, and drove right under Biffle.
Here's Matt on Kasey Kahne.
Kasey Kahne still runs in second, trying to close in on the 38 of Elliott Sadler. We told you on the previous run that Kasey said the car was really tight. As he inches ever closer to the 38, Tommy Baldwin didn't want to over-adjust, so he said, was it really tight when you were behind cars or by yourself? He said it was worse when I was behind cars, when you picked up more of an aero push. So he didn't want to over-adjust it, made a slight track bar and air pressure adjustment as Kasey starts to yard him on the outside, takes the lead going into 3. He said the car was tight, but it's getting better, obviously, as he takes the lead again.
One way not to have trouble behind other cars, pass them all.
Get out in front of him. That's what he did off turn 2 that last time.
Kasey Kahne reassumes the lead at 145 laps in the Samsung Radioshack 500. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.